He'll kill her if you call the police.
Jake Reaper Morrison hadn't slept in 36 hours. The kind of tired where coffee stops working and your body just moves on autopilot. He sat alone in a corner booth at Mel's Diner, 3 a.m., where on Highway 52 where the world felt like it had forgotten to exist. The fluorescent lights buzzed. A trucker snored 3 booths over. That's when she walked in. She was maybe 8 years old. Blonde hair tangled and matted, barefoot on the cold tile floor. But it was her wrists that made Jake's blood freeze. They were raw, bleeding, marked with fresh cuts like she'd been fighting against restraints. Her eyes were wild with terror, scanning the diner until they locked onto Jake. She walked straight to his table, no hesitation, like she'd made a decision that this was her only chance. "Please?" she whispered, her voice cracking. "He'll kill her if you call the police." Jake put down his coffee cup slowly. 20 years riding with the Devil's Brotherhood MC had taught him to recognize real fear. This wasn't a scared kid who'd had a nightmare. This was survival mode. "Kill who, sweetheart?" Jake asked quietly, keeping his voice calm. "My sister. She's locked in his patrol car." The girl pointed toward the parking lot with a shaking hand. "The police car out there. He caught her when we tried to run." Jake's jaw tightened. He looked through the diner window. Sure enough, a sheriff's patrol car sat in the parking lot, engine running, lights off. And pressed against the back window was another little girl, maybe 7 years old, her small hands banging silently against the glass. "Your sister's in a police car right now?" Jake confirmed. The girl nodded, tears streaming down her dirt-streaked face. "We tried to escape. We ran from his house tonight. But he caught Sarah first. He told me if I scream, if I call 911, if I tell anyone, he'll make her disappear forever. Like he did to the others." Jake's blood went cold. "Others. There were 6 before us," the girl whispered. "He showed us their pictures. He said they didn't listen. He said they're gone now. Asterisk, asterisk, if this opening hit you hard, drop a comment saying protect her so this story reaches people who need to see it. Asterisk, asterisk." The diner bell chimed. A man walked in, sheriff's uniform, perfectly pressed. Badge number 847 gleaming under the lights. He was maybe mid-40s, clean-cut, wedding ring on his left hand. The kind of cop who probably coached Little League and went to church on Sundays. The kind of man you'd trust with your life. His eyes found the girl immediately, then shifted to Jake. His expression changed, just slightly, a flicker of something cold behind the practiced smile. "Emma, sweetheart," he said, his voice dripping with false concern. "You scared me half to death running off like that. Your sister's worried sick." He extended his hand toward her. "Come on now, let's get you both home where you belong." Emma's entire body went rigid. She grabbed Jake's leather vest with both hands. Pressing herself against him, Jake stood up slowly, his 6'3" frame unfolding from the booth. He put himself between Emma and the man in uniform. "She doesn't seem like she wants to go with you, officer." The man's smile stayed fixed, but his eyes went flat. "I'm Sheriff Wade. This is Emma Patterson. She and her sister are in my custody through emergency foster placement. They've been having some adjustment issues, running away, acting out. I'm sure you understand." "Emma," Jake said, without taking his eyes off the sheriff. "Is this man telling the truth?" "No," she whispered. "My last name isn't Patterson. It's Chen. We're not foster kids. He took us 3 weeks ago from the park. Our real parents have been looking for us." He showed us the news reports and laughed. "Tsk." Sheriff Wade's face hardened. "Look, buddy, I don't know what this disturbed child has told you, but I have legal documentation in my vehicle. She needs psychiatric help. And you're interfering with? Then you won't mind waiting while I make a phone call," Jake interrupted. Pulling out his cell phone, that's when Sheriff Wade's hand moved toward his service weapon. Jake's body reacted on pure instinct. Muscle memory from 2 decades of bar fights and club wars. He stepped forward, fast, his hand clamping down on Wade's wrist before the gun cleared the holster. The 2 men locked eyes, and in that moment, Wade knew he'd miscalculated badly. "Emma, go lock yourself in the bathroom," Jake said calmly, maintaining his grip. Right now, Emma ran. "You're making a mistake," Wade hissed. "I'm a sheriff. You're assaulting a law enforcement officer. You'll spend the next 10 years in prison." Jake twisted the wrist harder, forcing Wade's hand away from the weapon. Then I guess you better hope your story checks out, Sheriff. With his free hand, Jake dialed a number he'd called exactly 7 times in his life. Each time had been an emergency. This made 8. Reaper? Bulldog's gravelly voice answered immediately. It's 3 a.m. I need the crew at Mel's Diner on Highway 52. Right now. And Bulldog. This one's bad. Bring everyone. What's the situation? Jake stared into Sheriff Wade's eyes. Corrupt cop trafficking kids. And he's standing right in front of me. 5 minutes later, the roar of motorcycle engines shattered the night. 7 Harleys pulled into Mel's Diner parking lot, ridden by men who looked like they'd been summoned from a nightmare. Leather, patches, scars, and the kind of presence that made normal people very nervous. But when they saw Jake restraining a sheriff, with a little girl's face pressed against the back window of a patrol car, their expressions went from curious to murderous. Asterisk, asterisk, if you believe justice is coming. Comment Brotherhood right now, asterisk, asterisk, Bulldog. A massive man with a gray beard and arms like tree trunks dismounted first. Reaper, what have we got? Check the patrol car. Back seat. Ghost, their tech guy, approached the vehicle. The little girl inside was crying now, banging harder on the window. Ghost tried the door. Locked. He looked back at Jake with pure rage in his eyes. There's a kid locked in here. She's terrified. That's my emergency foster placement, Sheriff Wade said quickly. She's having an episode. I was transporting her to a psychiatric facility when... Shut up, Jake cut him off. He raised his voice toward the bathroom. Emma, it's safe now. Come out. Emma emerged cautiously, seeing the wall of bikers between her and the sheriff. She ran to Jake, wrapping her arms around his waist. Tell them what you told me, Jake said gently. His name is Richard Wade. He's the county sheriff. 3 weeks ago, he took me and my sister Sarah from Riverside Park. He said he was a policeman, and our mom had been in an accident. We got in his car, and he locked the doors and drove us to his house. There's a basement there. He keeps us locked in rooms. He told us if we tried to escape, he'd kill us like he killed the others. She's mentally ill, Wade protested. Her files document extensive, delusional, then show us the files, Bulldog growled. Right now. Prove it. Wade's face twitched. They're at my office. Convenient, Jake said. He pulled out his phone again and dialed. This time, Detective Sarah Martinez of the state police. A woman who'd spent 15 years working gang task forces and had a complicated but respectful relationship with the Devil's Brotherhood. Martinez. Her voice came through, professional, even at 3 a.m. It's Jake Morrison. I need you at Mel's Diner, Highway 52. I've got a situation involving a sheriff named Richard Wade. 2 kidnapped girls, and what sounds like multiple victims. There was a long pause. Jake, tell me you're not about to start a war with law enforcement. I'm trying to prevent one. But these kids need help now. Can you come or not? I'm 40 minutes out. Don't do anything stupid. Jake hung up and looked at Wade. State police are on the way. We're going to stand here, nice and peaceful, until they arrive. Then you can show everyone your documentation, your foster placement papers, all of it. And if you're telling the truth, I'll apologize and face whatever charges you want to press. Wade's eyes darted toward his car, toward the highway, calculating escape routes. But 7 bikers had formed a semicircle, cutting off any exit. He was trapped. 30-8 minutes later, Detective Martinez arrived with 2 state police units. She was a woman in her mid-40s, sharp-eyed, with the bearing of someone who'd seen everything and couldn't be shocked anymore. Until tonight, Jake quickly explained the situation while Martinez listened, her expression growing darker with each detail. Sheriff Wade, I'm going to need to see identification for both these children. Your foster placement documentation and authorization for transport. Martinez said formally. This is outrageous, Wade blustered. I'm a county sheriff. I don't answer to I'm state police, which means, yes, you do. Documentation. Now. Wade's jaw clenched. It's in my office filing system. I don't carry it on patrol. What about their identification? Surely you have that. Wade hesitated just a second too long. It's also at the office. Martinez's eyes narrowed. You're transporting minors without any identification present? That's not protocol, Sheriff. She walked to the patrol car and looked at Sarah through the window. The little girl was sobbing, mascara of terror streaking her face. I'm Detective Martinez, sweetheart. You're safe now. Can you tell me your name? Sarah Chen, the girl called through the glass, her voice muffled. My sister is Emma Chen. Please don't let him take us back. Please. Martinez turned slowly toward Wade, her hand moving to rest on her service weapon. Sheriff Wade, I'm going to need you to unlock this vehicle and release this child immediately. She's disturbed. She doesn't know her real name. Unlock the vehicle. The standoff lasted 10 seconds. Then, Wade's shoulders slumped slightly. He pressed his key fob, and the locks clicked open. Sarah burst out of the car and ran straight to Emma. The two sisters collapsed into each other's arms, sobbing. Martinez knelt down beside them. Emma, Sarah, I need to ask you something very important. Do you know your parents' names? David and Linda Chen, Emma said immediately. They live at 2847 Maple Street in Riverside. My dad works at the bank. My mom teaches 3rd grade. They've been looking for us. We saw it on the news before he locked us in the basement. Martinez pulled out her phone and made a call. 2 minutes of conversation. Then she looked at Wade with disgust. David and Linda Chen reported their daughters missing 23 days ago. There's an active Amber Alert. Their descriptions match these girls exactly. She stepped toward Wade. Sheriff Richard Wade, you're under arrest for kidnapping, child endangerment, and about 15 other charges I'm going to enjoy filing. Type justice if you believe he deserves everything that's coming. Wade's mask cracked completely. You have no idea what you're doing. I have connections, judges, DAs. This will disappear. And all of you will pay for interfering with. Save it for your lawyer, Martinez said, snapping handcuffs onto his wrists. She looked at Jake. How did you know? I didn't know anything, Jake said quietly. Emma took a chance on a stranger in a diner. She trusted that someone who looked dangerous might actually help. Smart kid? Martinez nodded slowly. Emma mentioned something about 6 others. What was that about? Wade went pale. Emma spoke up, her voice small but clear. In the basement, he has a box. With pictures. He showed them to us. Said they were other girls who didn't cooperate. 6 pictures. Different girls. He said they're gone now. Martinez's face went from angry to lethal. She grabbed Wade by the collar. Where are they? Where are the 6 girls? I don't know what she's talking about, Wade stammered. She's making it up. She's bulldog, Jake said. Ghost. How fast can you get into Sheriff Wade's house? We're not breaking and entering, Martinez warned. I need a warrant for. Then get one, Jake interrupted. But while you're doing that, let me ask you something. How many girls have gone missing in Wades County over the past few years? Unsolved cases. Runaways. Kids who vanished without a trace. Keenis pulled out her phone and started typing. Her face went white. 7 unsolved missing persons cases involving girls aged 7 to 12 in the past 4 years. All from Wade's jurisdiction. That's not unusual for a rural county, Wade said quickly. Runaways happen. Kids with troubled homes shut up, Martinez snapped. She made another call. This is Detective Martinez, badge 4782. I need an emergency warrant for 15 Oakwood Drive. Registered to Sheriff Richard Wade. Suspected kidnapping, possible additional victims. I need it within the hour. While they waited, Emma and Sarah sat in Martinez's vehicle, wrapped in emergency blankets, sipping hot chocolate that the diner's night cook had made. Jake stood guard outside the car, his presence a wall between them and the world. Thank you, Emma whispered through the cracked window. You saved us. Jake knelt down to her eye level. You saved yourself, kid. You were brave enough to ask for help. That took guts. Are you really in a motorcycle gang? Sarah asked, her voice tiny. Yeah, Jake admitted. We are. My mom always said bikers were scary, Sarah said. Jake smiled slightly. Sometimes the scariest looking people are the safest. And sometimes the people who look the safest are the ones you should fear. You girls just learned that lesson the hard way. 58 minutes later, Martinez got her warrant. She looked at Jake. I'm going to Wade's house with a tactical team. You're staying here, no? Jake said flatly. Jake, those girls said there are pictures of 6 victims. If there are 6 more kids in that house, in that basement, every second counts. You need bodies on the ground to search fast. We can help. Martinez looked at the 7 members of the Devil's Brotherhood standing in the parking lot. Men who'd probably broken more laws than she'd enforced. Men who right now were the only reason 2 little girls were safe. This conversation never happened officially. She finally said, If anyone asks, you were never there. Understood. Wade's house was a modest 2-story home on the edge of town. White picket fence. Flower boxes in the windows. A neighborhood where people waved to each other and kids rode bikes in the street. The perfect disguise. The tactical team breached the front door while Jake and the Brotherhood entered through the back. The main floor was normal, almost aggressively normal. Family photos on the walls. A kitchen with coffee mugs that said World's Best Uncle. Living room with a TV and a comfortable couch. Then they found the basement door. Locked with 3 separate deadbolts. Ghost picked the locks in 45 seconds. The door swung open to reveal stairs descending into darkness. The smell that wafted up made Jake's stomach turn. Bleach, mildew, fear, they descended. The basement had been divided into 4 separate rooms, each with a heavy wooden door and a deadbolt on the outside. Martinez opened the first door empty, but there was a mattress on the floor. Chains bolted to the wall and children's drawings taped to the concrete. Pictures of houses and families and sunshine. Pictures of a life that had been stolen. Second door. Also empty. More chains. A small pile of clothes in the corner. Third door. Empty. Fourth door. Martinez's hand hesitated on the deadbolt. Then she threw it open. Not empty. A girl, maybe 10 years old, blinked in the sudden light. She was filthy, malnourished, and staring at them like she couldn't believe what she was seeing. My name is Detective Martinez, the detective said gently, her voice cracking. You're safe now. Can you tell me your name? Rachel, the girl whispered. Rachel Morrison. I've been here for... I don't know how long. What month is it? It's October, sweetheart. October? Rachel's face crumpled. I was taken in June from summer camp. Asterisk if this broke your heart. Comment. Save them so more people see the truth. Asterisk. They found 2 more girls in a hidden room behind a false wall. Melissa, age 9, missing for 8 months. And Sophie, age 11, who'd been there so long she'd almost forgotten what the outside world looked like. 3 girls. Alive. Traumatized, but alive. But Emma had said 6. Martinez found the box in Wade's bedroom closet. Inside were photographs of 6 different girls, each one smiling, each one wearing the same silver bracelet. On the back of each photo was a date and a single word written in Wade's handwriting. Retired. 3 of the faces belonged to Rachel, Melissa, and Sophie. The other 3 faces belonged to girls who would never be found. Girls whose families had spent years hoping, praying, searching. Girls who'd been stolen by a monster wearing a badge. Martinez sat on Wade's bed, staring at the photographs, her hands shaking. He kept trophies. He kept their pictures like they were accomplishments. Jake stood in the doorway, his jaw clenched so tight it ached. How long was he doing this? The earliest case I found was 4 years ago. There could be more we don't know about. Martinez looked up at him. You've saved 5 lives tonight, Jake. 5 little girls who would have ended up like the others if you hadn't been in that diner. Emma saved them, Jake corrected. She's the one who had the courage to ask for help. The aftermath took hours. EMTs checked each girl while child services coordinators made frantic calls to locate families. Parents who'd given up hope were told their daughters were alive. Families who'd been living in limbo for months suddenly had answers. David and Linda Chen arrived at 6:47 a.m., their car screeching into the parking lot. They ran to Emma and Sarah, collapsing to their knees, unable to speak through their sobs. The girls clung to their parents like they might disappear if they let go. Linda Chen looked up at Jake, tears streaming down her face. "You brought them back to me. How do I thank you for that?" Jake shifted uncomfortably. "Just keep them safe. That's all the thanks I need." "You're part of a motorcycle club," David Chen said, looking at the Devil's Brotherhood patches on Jake's vest. "Sir, I grew up hearing that bikers were criminals. Dangerous people." David extended his hand. "Today you taught me that sometimes we judge people by the wrong things. Thank you for being there when it mattered most." Martinez approached Jake as the sun started to rise. "We're going to need statements from all of you. This is going to be a long investigation. We'll cooperate fully," Jake promised. "I spent 15 years thinking the Devil's Brotherhood was just another criminal organization I needed to shut down. You've given me plenty of reasons over the years." She paused. "But tonight, you helped me take down a predator who was hiding behind a badge. 5 girls are going home because you gave a damn when it mattered most. What happens to Wade?" Jake asked. "He's going away forever. Kidnapping, unlawful imprisonment, and when we finish investigating, probably 3 counts of murder. He'll never see daylight again." "Good." 6 months later, Jake stood in front of a community center in Riverside. The Devil's Brotherhood had helped renovate it, transforming an abandoned building into a safe place for kids after school. Art programs, self-defense classes, a place where children could learn to recognize danger and trust their instincts. Emma Chen ran up to him, now healthy, her hair clean and braided. She threw her arms around him. "Jake, you came to the opening. Wouldn't miss it, kid." She pulled back and handed him a drawing. It showed a man on a motorcycle surrounded by kids. At the top, in careful crayon letters, "My hero doesn't wear a cape, he wears leather." Something cracked in Jake's chest. For 20 years, he'd been the man people crossed the street to avoid. The guy mothers pulled their children away from. And now a little girl was calling him a hero. "You know what the best part is?" Emma said. "My mom started a program here. It's called Trust Your Voice. We teach kids that if something feels wrong, it probably is, and that heroes can look like anybody. Even scary bikers." Jake smiled. "That's good. That's really good." Martinez walked over, now in civilian clothes. She'd become a regular volunteer at the center. "Reaper. Heard you guys shut down another operation last week? 3 states over. Word travels fast. You're getting a reputation. The brotherhood that protects kids? Other clubs are starting to follow your lead. Even some rivals," Good Jake said. "There should be lines that everyone respects." His phone rang. Unknown number. He answered. "Is this Jake Morrison?" A woman's voice, trembling and desperate. "My name is Patricia Hernandez. Detective Martinez gave me your number. My daughter vanished 2 days ago. The police say there's no evidence of foul play, that she probably ran away, but I know my daughter. She wouldn't do that. Something's wrong. They won't help me. Please, I don't know who else to call." Jake looked at Bulldog and Ghost, who were standing nearby talking to some kids. He caught their eyes. They both nodded. "Mrs. Hernandez, where are you located?" "Bakersfield. About 2 hours north? Text me your address." "I'm on my way." He hung up and grabbed his keys. The Brotherhood assembled around him without needing an explanation. 7 Harleys. 7 men who'd spent their lives on the wrong side of the law. 7 men who'd found a new mission that mattered more than territory or reputation. Emma watched them mount their bikes, engines roaring to life. She waved, and Jake waved back. He'd spent 20 years being someone people feared. Now he was someone they called when they needed help. And maybe, just maybe, that was the kind of legacy worth building. The Harleys rolled out of the parking lot, the sound of their engines carrying a promise. Somewhere out there, a child needed help. And the Brotherhood was coming, because sometimes the scariest men become the fiercest protectors. And sometimes being someone's hero, even just for one night, changes everything. If this story moved you, hit that like button and share it so more people understand that heroes come in all forms. Comment "Protect the Innocent" if you believe this is the mission that matters most. And subscribe because the Devil's Brotherhood story is far from over. There are more children who need saving. And we'll be following every rescue until justice is the only language predators understand. Asterisk.